Today we are going to unbox and review the HIS R9 280. And now we are going to unbox the HIS Radeon R9 280. Let's get started. And here's their website, hisdigital.com. Shipping instruction and how do you put the graphic card into your PCI Express 3.0 slot. The HIS R9 280 Ice Q Overclocked Edition. This is factory overclocked, and we will get into the technical specifications in the later part of the video. Let's open this. And inside this there's a platform, CD. My opinion is to download them off the internet because you get the newer versions down there. And the manual. We also get a D-sub to DVI adapter. Let's get into the depths of this graphic card. This card has a factory overclock 935 MHz core clock. It has got a memory clock of 1250 MHz. It has 1792 stream processors or shader units. The memory bus width of this card is 384-bit. It has got a memory of 3GB DDR5. This card supports PCI Express 3.0. Let's get into the ports. This has two mini display ports, one HDMI 1.4 and one DVI. As you know, this card supports 4K. To use 4K, you have to use the display ports, as the display ports support 4K 60Hz natively. HDMI 1.4 supports 4K at 30Hz. This card is built on a 28 nanometer process. That means it has lesser heat output and power consumption than the previous generation cards. The TDP of this card is 250 watt. Now let's get into the power section of this card. As you can see, this card needs two power connections, one 6-pin and one 8-pin. HIS suggests that you use a 750 watt power supply. My suggestion is that you always buy a 80 plus rated power supply to preserve the lifespan of your products, as you will get clean power and enough power for your computer components from the power supply. Now, let's get into the features of this unique Ice Q cooler. As you can see, this fan has enough gap between the PCB and the cooler. It can take in air from all the sides, pass it through the aluminum fins and also the cooling pipe, and this gets exhausted through the rear exhaust. This way, the card remains cooler than the other R9 280 cards. Also, the card is pretty long. This has a size of 11.5 inches. Thereby, before buying this card, you must check the specifications of your case, as if the case is not wide enough, you will not be able to accommodate this card. Also, we need to notice that the PCB, as you can see from the video itself. Now, this card is a double slot card. Again, something to be noted about the specifications of your cabinet. You must have two slots vacant to accommodate the double slot width of this card. The copper heat pipes of this card. This is an integral part of the cooling solution. There are two 8mm copper heat pipes and two 6mm copper heat pipes. This keeps the graphic chip cool. The R9280, the chip being over here, directly covered by the copper heat pipe, actually uses the same chip as the HD7950. It is just overclocked and has a higher TDP. This means that if you have a HD7950 lying around, you can crossfire this card with your HD7950. This card can crossfire with up to 4 cards. This is exactly what these crossfire ports show. Though of late, AMD has upgraded their crossfire utility and you can crossfire directly using your PCI Express slot. That depends upon the support of your motherboard and the drivers that you use. It has a tendency to sag. Thereby, to prevent that, HIS has provided this card with a plastic bracket which is mounted with its rear I/O, and there are 2 screw holes over here. Using this part of the card, if you fix it with your cabinet, this will prevent this card from sagging, as this part and the plastic bracket is going to provide this ample support. This card can also use AMD's Mantle API in games like Battlefield 4. What this means is that it reduces the CPU overhead and gives the developers direct and more efficient control over your hardware. That's it from the hardware analysis section. Now let's get to the benchmarks of this card. This card gets a solid 8 out of 10. If you like this video, like the video. If you disliked it, dislike it. But do let us know in the comments what we can do to improve ourselves. And please subscribe to our channel, as that will help us out greatly.